Welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Murfreesboro City School Board. We're glad to have those of you that are with us in the audience, and we're glad to have those that are at home watching via television. At this time, I'm going to ask you to please stand as Ms. Sherry Arnett, our Director of Instruction, will lead us in our pledge, followed then by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now our moment of silence. Thank you. All right, members of the board, you have received a copy of the agenda of the meeting tonight. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. West Ballard. Yes. Yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. All right, communications.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Response, I don't usually get that. Murfreesboro City Schools would like to thank Atmos Energy for their donation of backpacks, lunch bags, and water bottles for our students. Those have been distributed throughout the schools already, so we appreciate our partners. Mitchell-Nielsen Schools would like to thank Parks Realty and Agent Sinette P. and Jonathan Dodson for their generous donation of teacher school supplies. Parks Realty, as you know, donates every year for Mitchell-Nielsen. They're a wonderful partner with them, and they've donated thousands of dollars of school supplies over the past several years, so we appreciate them. Mitchell-Nielsen also has a partner, Sinking Creek Farms. We'd like to thank Ginger DeMumbrium for their generous donation of reusable water bottles and jump ropes for our children. Also, congratulations to board members Roseanne Barton and Amanda Moore for attaining your boardsmanship level 1. And also to David Settles, who achieved his level 2 status. So we appreciate your hard work. We appreciate your dedication to our schools, so congratulations to you. Finally, I want to say thank you to several of the school board members as well as our foundation board for running on a very, very humid day in our back to school dash. So it was a great event, even though it was virtual, and we appreciate the support we get from the school board as well as the foundation. That's your communication, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. A sad time coming up. Mr. Gary Anderson, would you please stand by the podium? As many of you are aware, Mr. Anderson has chosen to take a position with another school district close by. But before we let him go, I want to say a few words about Gary and his service to our city school system and accomplishments that he's had over the past 18 years since he's been with Murfreesboro City Schools. Many of you may not know this, but before Gary joined us, he had his own food service business, providing meals to Belmont and also to Fisk University. At Murfreesboro City Schools, he started out as the nutrition supervisor, later became assistant superintendent for finance and support services. In this role, he was responsible for 10 support area departments in the entire budget process, which included meeting with every principal, every department head, as well as projecting the enrollment for each school for the upcoming seasons. Gary would use his 3 decades of experience on the Board of Education in another district, of which he just finished up, to help us move forward as we grew. Some of you may not know this, but just as important to Gary are some of the other activities and roles that he carried on while he's been here. He served as the district representative for all new construction projects and renovations. How many schools have we built in the last 18 years, Mr. Anderson?
We're going back to Pittard and Skills and, of course, Salem. And and Overall Creek. Those have been the new ones, and we've had additions at Hobgood and Black Fox. We had multiple additions at Hobgood, so we've kept moving the district forward with schools.
And it has kept you busy.
Yes, sir.
He also organized Murfreesboro City Schools attendance at the MTSU basketball games each year, and that is a major undertaking and has helped MTSU to be in the top attendance schools in the country. He is responsible for establishing the Hammer Build and also coordinated a recycling program. He has served on the board of various community and state organizations. I think one of Gary's most popular accomplishments, however, is his event every year at Northfield School, where he has thrilled young people and old people as well, I will say, as in his role as Santa Claus.
Don't tell the children that.
Sir?
Don't tell the children that.
They don't know. These visits have brought much joy and much happiness, not only to children, but also to adults as well. While Gary may be leaving the city school system, his contributions will benefit the district for many years. Thank you, Gary Anderson, for everything that you have done for the children, the staff, the community of Murfreesboro City Schools. And Mr. Ringstaff, I would like to ask you if you'll come forward and present Gary a token of our appreciation for the hard work that he has done for 18 years.
You're all very kind. Thank you. As I leave, just want to make sure everybody does know what a great district this is, and if we can just continue with the focus on the whole child, the children, focus on the STEAM activities, this district will continue to be one of the most progressive and unique districts in the state of Tennessee. One of 3 districts that are situations is a pre-K through 6 district in the whole state, one of 25th largest districts, and we're only elementary. And that speaks volume for this community and what's gone on. So thank you very much for this. Thank you for your support for these past 18 years. And I know MCS will continue to be and do awesome things. Thank you.
Thank you. Our consent items. Members of the board, do we have approval of the consent items?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you. All right, action items. Recognition of approval of the 2019-20 tenure teacher.
Yes, sir. We did that, I think, the last meeting that we had here, and I think each year we unfortunately miss someone, and this year it's Miss Kenzie Johnson. She is a teacher at Salem Elementary, and she has obtained a 4 or 5 the last 2 consecutive years.
Very good.
So I would like to recommend that you make a motion to approve Ms. Johnson for tenure.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Barton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you very much. All right, reports and information. Personnel.
The first report is the personnel report. As you see, it's pretty light. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions or just give me a call and I will explain this to you.
Mr. Ballard?
On this subject, have we had any, I guess, anyone leaving because of COVID?
We haven't had any resignations, but we have had leave of absences. We've had 2 or 3 teachers take a leave of absence.
Okay. But as far as, just saying, I don't want to do this anymore and leaving, we haven't had that.
We may have had one, but it hasn't. That's the only one that we've had. We've had 2 or 3 to take a leave of absence.
Because
they
I
will
was
be
just
with us.
wondering, how the added pressure, what that was going to mean to some of these teachers that are just working so hard.
I've heard some school districts that had several resignations.
Well, good. Well,
All right, do we have a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. We have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? And there is none. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
Your revenue and expenditure report is, you got two this time, the July and the August one. If we just go to the August one, since it's the most recent. Revenue-wise, we look good. Remember, there's no sales tax reported yet because sales tax is always 2 months behind, so we don't have it. But we did end June with a good sales tax number. So sales tax seems to be doing fine and staying at the appropriate pace. On our expense side, you can also see the comparison to last year's number. We have stayed right in line with where we need to be. And so at 10.5% of our budget, and last year at this time we had spent 10.9. So we're in as good a shape as we can be in at this point. The state has indicated that the July final BEP estimate is what we will be getting. We, as you passed your resolution last month to try to make sure that the growth money is also distributed, since districts spent money to get ready, and hopefully the state will see the same way we do, that money needs to go to the districts that grow on a regular basis and had to prepare for it. But other than that, your finance right now is in pretty good shape. It's we're waiting on money we have to spend the money first, and the feds reimburse us on the CARES Act and on the FEMA, and we're of course waiting for monies to come back on that. So it's should be in a little better shape than it is right now, and even though we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? All right. Budget transfer.
Okay, the next item is the budget transfer. It's an information item, and what it is all we have done is switched. The state had told us to move the testing into a different account, and then they came back and said, no, put it back. And so all we're doing is telling you, it's the same amount of money, just moving from one budget code to another budget code. There's no difference. So we're just telling you we're doing that because the state told us we needed to change it back, even though they advised us otherwise beforehand.
Okay.
There's no difference, no impact on the budget.
Any questions? We need a motion to approve these two reports.
You don't have to, no.
I don't think so. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next on our agenda, instructional technology presentation. Mickey, Trent, it's all yours.
Good evening, Board. I just wanted to take a minute to share with you what a great job these two guys have been doing. During the opening of the 2021 school year, our two instructional technology coaches, Trent and Mickey, have played a crucial role in the success that our teachers and students are seeing each day. Their training of Zoom and Google Classroom refreshers began back in April, when teachers were working from home, and these two were Zooming PDs to get teachers prepared because we didn't really know what the opening of school was going to look like. And it has continued ever since that day. Due to their assistance, hybrid, virtual, and traditional teachers have been better prepared for this daily challenge. So tonight they're going to give you just a glimpse of what you would see in a hybrid classroom and in a virtual classroom on a daily basis. So, Trent and Mickey.
Again, my name is Mickey Brooks. I'm an instructional technology coach for the district. I've been with the district for 20 years, a little over 20 years in some capacity. What sets Trent and myself apart from the technicians, from the people who work on computers, is we're actually certified, and we've actually been in the classroom in some capacity in the past.
I'm Trent Cheeves. Good evening. I have also served 17 years with the district, both as a second grade teacher and now as a technology coach, more so on that side of the fence at this point. So I still consider myself an educator. My students just have changed to grown folks, so I still enjoy that. Guys, what we typically do on a regular basis is peer-to-peer coaching, whether that's just with one other teacher, a PLC, or even sometimes a large group, maybe the entire staff. And we just kind of make sure that they're ready to collaborate with new trailblazing ideas in technology. And we're in a unique position remembering those times as teachers where we can kind of bridge the gap, where they may not be used to some of the new things that are out, and a little nervous about trying those things, and we just kind of find what makes them tick or that button that really gets them excited about technology. My job today is just to talk a little bit about hybrid. So this is a chance for you to just kind of jump in. If you haven't been able to get in our buildings, we wanted to do a really good job, or try to, of some video of different teachers throughout different schools in our district. So I'm going to cue that up. And as you watch the video, I'll just kind of give you a few pointers about the hybrid model. The hybrid, as you know, are both students in person as well as distance learners at home through Zoom, which is our video tool. It is basically designed and accepted through MCS as a temporary solution. We just wanted to respect parent wishes for their child's education, and at the same time maintain those safe protocols for distance. So the hybrid fit that mold. Teachers are using different strategies to unite both of those students as close as they possibly can to a typical classroom environment. So, you know, it can be a little odd when you have students on the screen as well as right in front of you, but they've done a great job. They use several different techniques that we train them on, or they seek out on their own. They use several platforms at school, student helpers. They might be a typist or an internet researcher. I've seen both of those positions done with students in 5th grade all the way down to 1st grade. So there's no limitation there. Several of our teachers have clear touch panels, as you see here. Several other devices that they've brought in or the district has provided, all using that Google Classroom platform that you heard about earlier. Essentially, they're able to use that Google Classroom platform to both push out links and videos and materials, even post assignments if their students are ready for that. What Google Classroom provides us is that necessary infrastructure that we didn't have in March, to be honest with you. So we've only had a few months to get that ready, but I'm really proud of what our teachers have done with both the training they've sought out from us, as well as what they've gone out and learned on their own. So I'm going to let Mickey kind of come in and talk to you a little bit about what a virtual classroom looks like.
All right. So, you know, Trent talked about the hybrid instruction. We also have teachers who do strictly online instruction, where they are sitting in front of the computer. They are almost like at a command station where they're controlling their Zoom. And right here we've got some video of one of our teachers. As you can see, Miss Barton, this looks a lot different than probably what you used to, how you used to teach at Riggs Rogers. She basically has a command center where she's got a multiple laptops. She has a screen where she can monitor all her kids. She even has a ring light that kind of makes herself look a little more glowing right here.
We have the link if you want it.
So, you know, when I first, we talked about online instruction, I really imagined teachers being able to be in their classrooms alone and being up and performing and dancing, but really the teachers have to be in front of that Zoom to mute the kids, unmute the kids, call on the kids, monitor the kids to make sure everyone's on task with that 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old at home on their computer. Teachers can share their document camera on Zoom. They can share any resources they have on their computer. They can share just as many screens as they would like to. Google Classroom is, again, like Trent talked about, it's our online platform where teachers can push out links, documents, assignments, videos in a paperless way where students can get that information from home. Students at home, they're still receiving some special area instruction. Our special area teachers, art, music, and PE, they're putting out pre-made videos that kind of give maybe an art lesson where they can actually access those at home via just a link and a calendar. Overall, these pictures that you've been seeing are really just a celebration of what our teachers have been able to pull off, because what they've been able to pull off with little training they've had and little time has been really extraordinary on, as you can see, some of the pictures that they've been able to put together. We do want to do a special thanks to Luke Hill, Sandy McDonald, and Elizabeth Shepard. They are 3 special area teachers that have kind of teamed up with Trent and I for the first 9 weeks to really help us, because there's only 2 of us in 13 schools. So they've really come out of their special area to kind of help in spots as they can. So I really didn't want to let tonight go without recognizing them. Yes. So lastly, what we have is a little 2.5-minute video. This is Kayla Embry. of Scales Elementary. We got some video footage of her. Trent went in and interviewed her and put together a little package for us. Let's see if we got video here. Now try it.
I had my team and I were working together on how we were going to provide our students with the best online instruction. I walked into a hybrid model. So I had 10 students in front of me in the school building and 10 students on the screen. And the first week, I'm not going to lie, it was interesting. We definitely did a lot of trial and error. We tried different things to make it work, both with technology and just the ins and outs of building a classroom community when we're not all on the same platform and all together in one space. I wanted to make sure that in the event that we all have to go virtual at some point, which we know the chance is there, I wanted to make sure all of my students, both virtual and traditional, are prepared for that. Just learning the different features of Zoom and what they were able to do and not able to do, we established our Zoom meeting expectations for everybody, because should we all have to go virtual, I wanted everybody to be prepared. Same thing with Google Classroom. Every child has access to Google Classroom, and we use it daily, whether they're a virtual learner or a traditional learner. And we use it for assignments, for tests, for notes, for videos, you name it, it's on Google Classroom, and every child in my room knows it. Even when we take notes during the classroom during the day, they know that in the afternoon I'm going to post those there. So even if they're a home learner or a traditional learner, they can access those at home when they need it. And so I assign my kids some different roles. One of my virtual students is kind of our tech assistant, and so anytime that I'm struggling with something, or I can't share my screen, or I can't, whoever the case may be, whatever the case may be, he is on it. He'll say, Miss Embry, I'm on it. He'll go to his computer and he'll look up whatever he needs to look up, and then when he's ready, he raises that little hand on Zoom and he said, Miss Embry, I think I found it. If you do this, then you can do this. And then in my classroom for right now, one of the jobs is my typist, and so anytime that we're taking notes, I have a student have my keyboard and mouse, and she is able to go in there and click on the screen and type in our notes real time as we're having the conversation as a class. And she's an incredible asset, and that role is an incredible one for our classroom. It allows me the flexibility to move around my classroom to meet everybody, as well as the kids on my screen to check in with them as I need to make sure that everyone is engaged. Both of my devices are logged into that Zoom. And so at that point in time, I share my screen from my ClearTouch board. And so I'll go to my plan book where I have like Google Slides already ready to go. And the first thing that will be visible when I share my screen is just my welcome, my classroom hub is what I refer to it as. And so on that, I have my morning work listed every day. And so I've got it split to where I have half of it is traditional and then half of it is virtual. And I do that simply because, again, going back to wanting to honor my traditional learners and their parents' wishes for that, some of the things like gluing in notes and things like that, they're able to go ahead and do that in the morning. And so that way, when we come to the lesson, it's already ready to go.
So we just kind of wanted to give you a snippet as to what a daily life is for some of our teachers in the district. Hopefully that accomplished it for you, at least gave you a little tidbit. So if you haven't been in the buildings, now maybe you feel a little more comfortable and you at least maybe know what to ask that you've seen some examples there. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, like Trent said, if you've not seen some of this hybrid or online instruction in person, it's really incredible to see what they've been able to pull off in the elementary school setting.
We're very proud.
Mr. Ballard?
I just want to back you up because it is incredible. I took a trip into Black Fox yesterday, and so to see what had been set up there, I had my imagination of what was going on as we talk about this phase of schooling we're doing now. But when I got in there and understood how the teachers in the classrooms and how this technology had adapted so that they could do what they do, it was amazing. So I know there are problems within. I didn't see them, so that's okay. But the main thing was that I was so impressed with how the children through the video were engaged. You know, you see those faces up there, but each one of those children were engaged just like they were in the classroom. and they were speaking up, and they were, they weren't, didn't have their phone down there doing a video game. They were engaged. So it was really something to see, and I would encourage everyone as well to get in. I know the teachers don't want to see a lot of us around, but it was well worth it, and I learned a lot, and I think I would certainly back up anything that these gentlemen have said about what's been done. So, and thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
I think your presentation makes it look so simple. But I think we all know in reality it's not so simple. And I have to commend our teachers, our administrators, our tech people, everybody involved. So far, the year, I think, has gone very smoothly, and things are moving along very well. And even with some students coming back in the end of September, 1st of October, we still have challenges. But I've got to commend our teachers and everybody on accepting the challenges and stepping up to the plate and doing what needs to be done, because I think from what I'm hearing and what other board members I think are hearing and seeing, it has certainly been successful, and that is due to everybody working hard together. And I appreciate what y'all do, particularly.
Thank
you. Any other questions, comments, Ms. Barton?
I just want to say I work with both of these guys, and they're so modest. What they do for teachers is really incredible. The teachers feel very comfortable contacting them. I mean, and they're there in a day, sometimes less. So I think we totally underestimate what you all do, and we need about 3 or 4 more of you on a regular basis, not just during COVID. But
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I'd like to say is most of our teachers, sometimes nerves can really get to them, and at the beginning of the year, we saw a lot of that. We went to every building and we held a mandatory training just to make sure that they had Google Classroom down in case we shut everything down. And from that day to today, I just kind of walking around, I made it a purposeful moment for myself just to make eye contact and just really gauge what their feelings were, their comfort level in the classroom. And I got to tell you, not necessarily by our part, they've sought out all kinds of different valuable tools and techniques. So I'm just really impressed with our teachers and the fact that they now have so many more tools themselves that they maybe had no clue that they knew how to teach that way. So just a pat on the back for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other business come before the board tonight? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.